Snares of the fowler will never capture you, and famine will bring you no fear. Under God's wings your refuge, with faithfulness your shield. And I will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of my hand. For to the angels God's given command to guard you in all of your ways. Upon the hands they will bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. And I will raise you up on eagle's wings, bear you on the breath of dawn, make you to shine like the sun, and hold you in the palm of my hand.
Everybody, I want to tell you how important each and every one of you are to me, and how what comfort that you bring to me being here, and the people and the planes and the joy. That's what I want everybody to remember with Kris Noon. I don't want you to cry. I want you to live your life in the spirit that he did. And in his 24 years on this earth, he lived more in those 24 years than people lived their whole life. And that's the truth. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Moosey was one of a kind, and there'll never be another one of him either. I want to thank everybody. There's notepads, and I don't have a mortuary notebook. I'm not. So if you would please take the minute to find one of those pads that are floating around and jot down how you knew Kris and Moose. It would mean the world to me. For a long, long time, it would mean the world to me to read those, because there's so many of you, and I love everybody so much, but
They're back on the table.
they're back there on the tables, and I just want to thank everybody for everything. The comforting and the support that people have poured out to our family has been unbelievable. And I just want to thank everybody from my soul.
We love you, Mama Noon. We love you, Terry.
Mom. Hey, Mom, come here. I want to pray well for you. Yeah, okay. We're going to have a word of prayer for Mom, for the family, and also for the time of food and fellowship that we'll be sharing. So let's all bow our heads very reverently as we take this time. Come on up, family. Yeah.
Yes, get up here.
Yeah.
Get up here, my baby. Should you going up?
Yeah.
Should I go?
Yes, come on. Yeah.
Should I go?
JC, get your ass up there.
Here comes JC.
Passionately wait.
I know we all want to be of a big encouragement to this family, and you know, one of the things the book says is to weep with those who weep and rejoice with those who rejoice. So we're here to do both of those today, to be sad, but also to fondly share memories. So let's bow. Holy God, our Heavenly Father, you are with us in the good times and in the tough times. You are God of the mountains, and you are also a God of the valleys. And so here we are today, wanting to support this family as they walk through the valley of the shadow of death. God, just give them comfort. The tears, Jesus understands tears because he wept also. And God, we pray that our shoulders will be there to lean upon, not just today, but in coming days as well. Our support, that it will be there as well. God, as we share food and fellowship, may it all bring honor and glory to you. Thank you for this gathering. And God, even now we hear another plane coming in. Yes. Others that will be gathering. In the name of Jesus our Lord, and we all say together, amen.
should I feel discouraged? Why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and longing for heaven, heaven and home? When Jesus is my portion, my constant friend is He. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know that He watches me. Yes, His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. Now I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I am free. For His eye is on the sparrow, and I know that He watches me. Now whenever I get tempted, whenever clouds arise, when song gives place to sighing, when hope within me dies, well, that's when I draw Him closer to me. From care He sets me free. For His eye is on the sparrow, and I know that He watches me. For His eye is on the sparrow, and I know that He watches me. Now I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I am free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know He watches me. I said I sing because I'm happy. Yes, I sing because I am free. For His eye is on the sparrow, and I know that He watches me. Yes, I know that He watches. Yes, I know that He watches. Yes, I know that He watches. Yes, I know that He watches me.
Wow, the people here, it's amazing. If you don't know, I'm Aaron Pearl. I own the airport. How I initially met the Noons was this plane right here, which they affectionately named Pearl. When I sold them the plane, I sold it because I knew it was going to take a lot of money, and it is a money pit.
Hold on, Earl. Aaron. Tell him how much were you asking versus what the old man paid you.
I'm a good negotiator, and he had a difficult time with me. I threw the carpet in for free. That's what he got from me. The outpouring of support that the community, the suppliers from the airport have reached out to me, Aaron, what can we do for the family? The company who did our sign work, he's a local business here. Aaron Christman with Print Sign Design said, Aaron, we want to do something for the family, so I don't know where it's at. So they made up a plaque. One thing we're real proud of here is we have our little pilot's lounge. This is a place we love to sit and hang out at. And Print Sign Design made this up, and this is going to hang in our pilot's lounge. John and Kris will always be a part of Bucks. On behalf of the aviation community, and in particular Closer, the Bucks family, the Noon family, whatever you guys need, we're here for you.
Christopher Noon sure did love his moose, didn't he?
Sure did, Moose!
Now I want to specify, just like he did to everybody else, that this was Christopher with a K and an F.
Yes! Woo!
About a month ago, when they were getting ready to sell the house on Oak Terrace, I would ask Noon if he had any interest in getting an apartment together to stay closer to his friends and to Hannah. He would always say he did not want to leave his dad. Everything Moose did, he was the best at. He was the best running back in South Jersey history, a better pilot than Sully, and a better musician than Bruce. Now, disclaimer, he always did say that Bruce stole his girl from him, who he later married, but we won't talk about that. You could always count on Moose. You could always count on it to be some bullshit story when Moose started rubbing his hands together and stuttering.
Come on, everybody do it!
You knew Moose was home when you would hear the slippers shuffling around on the hardwood and eating his cold saltines. I have never met anyone who worked harder for what they wanted than Chris Noon did. From us playing with Army planes 15 years ago, to the countless flying hours he put in while in high school, to the mock Airbus cockpit in the living room of Oak Terrace, everything he did revolved around being a pilot. Whatever we were doing when a plane flew by, we had to stop and look, and God forbid it was an Airbus. He would say, "You see that thing? Daddy flies that." Not many people are as fortunate as I am to have met their best friend at 4 years old. But what an honor it was to be your friend. The other day I read a quote that has brought some things to light, and it said, "Let us live for those who live no more." And that is the way you would want it.
Yes, you would.
I love you, and I will miss you, my friend. Thank you for making this world a better place, and thank you for showing me what it meant to live life to the fullest. Thank you, everybody.
Joe's a little taller than me. I'm sorry. I'm only 5'11". Appreciate all you guys coming out today, showing your support for my team. This was their dream and goal, and we finally made it. Just sucks we didn't have more time to enjoy it. I'm not going to give you my speech just yet. I'm not going to bless you guys with my speech just yet. I'll let you guys get a little loosened up, let everybody else go first. But I do have a message from a good friend of ours who couldn't make it today. He wanted me to read it. It's with and this is, give you a little background. This is a good friend of my dad, and ended up turning to be a mentor of Kris. It is with great, deep regret and heartfelt sorrow that I am unable to be with all of you today to celebrate and reflect on the lives of both John and Kris. I had the pleasure of knowing John back in high school in Palmyra, New Jersey. He was a great friend and unbelievable teammate on our undefeated and state championship football team in 1971. So I got a cosign that actually did happen. He didn't fake make that jacket behind me. John was only a junior and I was a senior. John was our starting fullback that year. Many might say he wasn't big enough to play fullback. Well, let me tell you, they were wrong! Exclamation point. His low center of gravity, lightning speed, and ability to maneuver, fueled by a big heart that never quit and always gave 150%, made him an unbelievable force to be reckoned with, when no matter whether he was blocking for someone or running the football. To make a point, we are actually talking about my father. Yes. Yes. Hard to believe. Yep. As with football and everyday life as a student, John always found the positive in everything he did and said. Such a pleasure to be around and a great example for others. In approaching life and its daily challenges as an adolescent high school student. After high school, we went around our separate ways, as many do, and lost touch with each other until about 7 years ago. Out of the blue, I get a phone call with a South Jersey area code. Something told me not to let it go to voicemail. So I answered and said hello. Laughing on the other side of the phone with a big, "Hey Al, it's John Noon," was none other than my old high school buddy, John Noon himself. We picked up laughing and reminiscing right where we had left off 38 years earlier. Like nothing happened. We must have talked and laughed for close to an hour and relived almost every football game of our championship team. When it was obvious that we had carried on way too long, he got serious and asked me for a favor. He told me about his young son, Kris, who was an up-and-coming pilot and wanted to pursue a career as an airline pilot. And asked if I would mind talking to him and giving him some insight into the airline industry. Before I could answer John in moose fashion, he gave me a 5-minute speech on how wonderful Kris was and how he had all the early signs of a very gifted pilot. John was beaming with joy as he was explaining this all to me. When he finally stopped and asked, "So would you mind talking to him, Al?" I replied I would do one better. I told John that I had a late afternoon meeting with the FAA in Philly the next week and planned on driving over to the ShopRite in Cinnaminson to pick up a couple bottles of Boost before heading back home to Maryland. I suggested that we meet face to face and catch up. John said that would be great. He invited me over to his house. As planned, we all met and spent several hours catching up and talking everything from football to airplanes. This was my first exposure to Kris, and what can I say except he was everything that John had described and then some. What a fine young man. I was very impressed and honored to help both. I made sure Kris had all my contact info as if it was mine, and the relationship blossomed from there. Kris asked all the right questions and was well on his way. John and I were talking several times a month now, and it was obvious that Kris was excelling in all of his endeavors. John had invited me to fly out to Oshkosh or to meet him out there one year, but my schedule wouldn't permit it. We talked several times about getting together and going flying, but life kept getting in the way. Then one day, I was asked to fly a very close friend's business jet up north so him and his wife can attend a family function in the afternoon. So I called John and Kris and asked if Kris would like to fly the jet and be my co-pilot. The answer was a resounding yes, and the date was set. I told Kris to meet me at Atlantic Aviation in Wilmington, Delaware at 9 a.m. for a 10 a.m. departure. While driving to Wilmington Airport, I got a phone call from the front desk at Atlantic Aviation. They asked me to confirm my 10 a.m. takeoff. I said yes, and asked, why do you ask? Their response was, your co-pilot has been here since 7:45 a.m. And we weren't sure if you had moved up your departure or not, and just wanted to check with you, sir. I remember smiling and told them to tell Kris I was on my way. So after Kris got all strapped up in the co-pilot seat, I let him do everything. I talked him through the startup, and all the pre-flight checks. He had caught on very quickly and was on cloud 9 to actually be flying a business jet. This was his first experience also, by the way. I let him follow through on the takeoff, and once safely in the air, all cleaned it up and told him it was his jet and that he could either put it on autopilot or manage that and hand fly the jet for a while. He chose to hand fly it without the autopilot. Like John said, he was a natural. As we proceeded up to New York, things were getting busy, and Kris was smiling from ear to ear, taking it all in. He watched as we landed up north and was overwhelmed at the speed in which things happen in a jet. We had a couple hours to kill, and it was a nice Saturday afternoon, so we got the courtesy car from the FBO and went out and got a bite to eat. I enjoyed my time with Kris and got to see the fine young man that John and Terry had raised. Just like his dad, always happy and very positive in all conversations. When it was time to leave again, I let Kris do as much as possible. Right after takeoff, I handed the jet to Kris and let him fly. After 5 minutes, he engaged the autopilot and embraced all the automation. We finally set up for approach into Wilmington, and Kris was doing such a fine job, I ended up letting him take the jet in with minor input on my side and oversight. As soon as the wheels touched down, and I took the jet from Kris, that very serious look on Kris's face that had just transpired for the last 20 minutes turned into that beaming smile that I seen earlier. We ended up putting the jet away and parting ways for the day. In true, sincere fashion, I got a handwritten thank you note from Kris the following week, thanking me over and over again for the opportunity to join him and fly with me. That was huge in my book. It speaks volumes about the character and integrity of the sending individual. Sorry. About the character and integrity of the sending individual when I get a handwritten note, thank you note like that. So as Kris progressed and John was buying and selling airplanes, we continued to remain in touch. When Terry reached out to me last week with the dreadful news, I was crushed. I felt as though I had lost one of my own family members. There are no words that could turn back the time and ease the pain of losing two beautiful people. As you all gather here today, please know that my heartfelt condolences are all with you, and the memories of John and Kris will be cherished till the day I fly west as well. I'd like to leave you all with a quote written many years ago. For those that are pilots today, I think that you will feel the true meaning in these words. It goes something like this. Once you have tasted flight, you will forever walk the earth with your eyes turned skyward. For there you have been, and there you will always long to return. God bless you all, and thank you for allowing me to share my thoughts. I have no doubt that as I continue to fly, I will have two special pilots looking over my shoulder and smiling positive thoughts. Signed, Al Scyther, retired Chief Pilot, Southwest Airlines. Thank you.
Love you, Al Snyder.
I'm a little taller than JC.
And you've always liked that.
He's what, 5'11", something, 6'2"? Yeah. Sounds good. So first off, this whole thing may seem a little odd to people who don't know us that well. We've got the ridiculous shades. Who's got the shades on? Good shades. This right next to me, Kris was not in the Navy. That was a Halloween costume. The helmet was his. The cutout, we did not make the cutout. That was his cutout, but we popped it in there. That might seem weird to a lot of you. Kris would have thought it was hilarious. So we're here to do it right for him, so that's why the vibe's like that. So the Noons have always marched to the beat of their own drum, and no one more than Kris and Moose. So let's start with Moosey. Lesser known around these parts as John Charles Noon III. Our family grew up in Camden and then Pennsauken, and Moosey worked hard at his union job. I can't say that he always loved heading out to work, but he definitely always did it. And then he'd head out to his gigs every weekend with my mom, and later myself, and a lot of people in this crowd today. Mom and Moosey worked real hard to give our family the best possible upbringing that they could, and I think they made 4 pretty damn awesome children. So, beyond Moosey's latex gloves for any occasion, frequent choice to be clothed in nothing but boxers, love for spending time with his family, and vigorously rubbing his hands together for any reason he could find. Whew. Some of my strongest memories that I'll hold with my father revolve around playing thousands of gigs with him. I was the musician in the family, so I took to that with my parents very early. He taught me as much as I taught him when it came to the band stuff. And eventually, I started to branch out and kind of do my own thing musically in a lot of different ways. And my father couldn't have been more supportive. However, he would always tell me that any project or band that I was in would have been significantly better with him on guitar instead. Moosey and I also shared a love for sports, most notably football. I can't say I ever scored 8 touchdowns in a single game like him, but it was something that we could certainly bond about. Throughout my life, we always would chat about the Eagles regularly. He was always a lot more optimistic about the squad than I was, and we had some great chats over the years. Moosey also loved supporting my sporting events, whether it was pee-wee football, track, high school football, adult flag football, dodgeball. I mean, anything I was involved in and I was competing with, he loved being there, cheering me on. It didn't really matter what the sport was, what the venue was. I have literally hundreds of videos of Moosey and or Kris up in the stands with a camcorder, providing their own commentary, which was questionable at times, but I'll definitely treasure those videos forever. Moose's father, John Charles Noon II, or simply known as Pop to all of us, passed away when I was 5 years old, which is how old my daughter is right now. So you may think that this would lead to me not remembering much about Pop, and you're not totally wrong there. But what I do remember vividly about Pop is that Moose was never again as happy as he was when he was spending time around Pop. And I'm glad Kris is finally getting a chance to meet him. I'm sure the 3 of them are getting along superbly up there. And speaking of Kris, yeah. Well, actually, it was Young Gucci, Young Bull, Hair, Mo, Schmo, Schmosis, Bra, Hooch, Hoochie, Nathaniel Wilkinson, Dag, Gucci, Bellucci, Ding Dong, Butt Cheek Brains. About 1,000 other names I could call them, except never Kris, ever. We had a 9-year age gap, Kris and I. Alana and I, a 10-year gap. Kris and Alana, in my mind, are just as close to me and my children as they are my siblings. It absolutely breaks my heart that one of them isn't here anymore. I always thought I couldn't imagine losing one of my own children, and unfortunately that's no longer the case. I now know exactly what it would feel like to lose a kid, and it is indescribably awful. Age gaps between children are odd. the 4-year gap between JC and I has looked a lot different over the course of our lives. The gap between 12 and 16, for example, might as well have been the Grand Canyon. When we got to 17 to 21 and my band started popping off, he knows that age gap dropped real significantly. And it went from, ugh, that's my little brother, to, that's my little brother. Now, 33 to 37 seems like no big deal at all. The 9-year age gap that Kris and I shared was just starting to feel like it shrunk down. Kris shifted from my son to my little brother to more recently my best friend. He and I would talk every day, even if it was just to share a funny and almost always inappropriate video that somebody would fall into. We had a sense of humor that was a match made in heaven, and I will never forget how hard Kris could make me laugh. His smile was infectious. Everybody here who knew him knew that, and he would light up any room that he entered. If you would have contacted any of the Noon siblings 2 weeks ago and asked us which sibling we were closest with, Alana, JC, and I would have all certainly said Kris. Alana, JC, and I are all extremely different from one another, and that's a testament to how eclectic Kris was, that he could get along with anybody in any scenario, anytime. I'm sure Kris would have said me, for sure, but we'll have to have that argument between Alana, JC, and I later. The point is, everybody loved Kris, both inside and out of our family. He was perfect. As a drummer in a wedding band, I've heard my fair share of best man speeches over the years. But recently, I've been listening to the speeches at gigs with a different ear and began brainstorming how mine might go for Kris. I'm sure with my luck, he would have just picked JC anyway, but just in case, I started brainstorming how this might go. And here were some of my thoughts of what I had. So, after congratulating the new couple and definitely busting Kris's balls as much as I could, I'd probably throw in something like, I don't know how the heck you landed Hannah. She's way out of your league. And then, bear with me here, I was planning on busting out some props. I know, and not like props, like propellers, like literally like objects. And I know it sounds cheesy, but stop hating. Here's what we'll go with. So, a few highlights here. We would have had a Guitar Hero controller, first and foremost. It was a video game he was a prodigy playing, and had we had a little bit more insight, he probably would have just been a YouTube star, and we could have just banked on that. That would, of course, transition to a candle, which would represent the day he was so fired up in Guitar Hero. JC and I were partying around him with a good amount of people. Everybody's egging on Kris. He leans back, into a candle, and his shirt literally lights on fire. Where's Toofy? Toofy? Toofy, I'm pretty sure. Kris, you're on fire, man! Literally, yeah. Definitely would have to have a pretzel sticks barrel, like the big pretzel sticks barrel. I'm pretty sure that was about 98% of his diet as a child, and anybody who was around us growing up knows Kris was into the pretzels. Then we'd have to have a Louisville Slugger baseball bat. Now, I'm not even sure how many people know this story. Kris stunk at baseball, so that's absolutely not where we're going. Growing up, I was always cool with Kris being around me, but I can't say I didn't give him a hard time here and there. He used to always want to play video games with me all the time when he was young, and I'd let him here and there. So one day we're playing Madden, and we're playing it's me and my boy Phil and Kris. And as usual, I'm beating Kris by about 50. He's about 7 years old at this point. So I throw another touchdown. I'm strolling into the end zone. And, I humbly said something along the lines of, woo! And Kris slams the controller on the ground. Now, he would have never done it. He was usually just excited to be up there. Slams the controller on the ground. Gets him close, gets real serious. He says, I've always dreamed of hitting you in the face with a baseball bat. That's a direct quote, I promise. Ran out of the room. I mean, I probably should have been concerned at the time, but I think I laughed for 3 weeks straight. Then for more recently, I've definitely bust out a golf disc. So Kris and I fell in love with this game because we both really enjoyed going to regular golf, but didn't love paying green fees. So we decided to try this out, not really thinking much of it, and we both really grew to love it over the years. One of our last trips out included an ace by me, which is hole in one, basically. So I throw it, goes off the basket, and it pops right into the basket. And there was a moment of silence. I don't know, it felt like forever. It was probably about a half a second. But there was dead silence in the woods. And then anybody within 2 zip codes was made very, very aware of what just happened. Kris and I jumped in each other's arms. We screamed. We were jumping around like we were teenage girls at a Justin Bieber concert. I can't tell you specifically how many "let's go's" or Ric Flair "woos" there were, but there were a lot. That day, and specifically that interaction, will be engraved in my heart forever. I laid the smackdown on Kris every time we went, by the way. We've been going for years at this point, and he got crushed every single time that we went. Until the very last time we got out, on August 29th, 2022. Kris went out there, and he seemed like he was just possessed. He shaved 10 strokes off his best round and beat my ass. It's unbelievable that the very last time we would go was the time he was finally able to knock me off. So, well done, Shmo. I've been doing a lot of reflecting on my life during these last 10 days. The few times that our family had the chance to get together over the last few years and completely unwind were some of the most fun and most hilarious times of my life. I've also come to the depressing realization that we allowed our busy schedules to rob us of way more chances that we should have had at those memories. I won't make that mistake anymore moving forward. And if there's any silver lining at all to this horrendous tragedy, and we have to squint really, really hard to find anything, it's that I've never felt closer to my family than I do right now. I hope Moosey would look back on his 67 years as a good run. He was robbed of the second life that he just built, but I hope he'd be proud of the accomplishments that he was able to squeeze out of life. For Kris, however, we all know that his 24 years was nowhere near enough time. He was just getting started. We're never going to know what Kris's house was going to look like, how he would go about hosting a family get-together, what his babies would be like, how hammered he would have gotten at his bachelor party, what his wedding would have been like, or how he'd choose to spend his retirement, or any other of a million other milestones he wasn't able to experience. Not a day is going to go by that I won't think about my brother Kris. I'm going to hold his memory with me in every experience that I have for the rest of my life. I love him. I will always love him. And I would do anything to have him back. To everyone here, I implore you all to do anything you can to carve out more time with the people you love. You truly never know when your time or the time of those around you is up. To Kris and Moose, you guys left us way too soon. This world is a darker place without you in it, and I will never be the same after this. I'll do everything I can to make you two proud of me, and I plan to squeeze everything I can out of my life in your honor. I love you both. I'm really going to miss you.
Good afternoon, everyone, or as Kris would say, sup, balls? Nothing in this world will ever mend our broken hearts, but the outpouring amount of love and support our family has received has helped us begin to navigate this new version of life we have been unwillingly forced into. So on behalf of everyone in our family, thank you to all of you, and my Lord, there are so many of you. Kris and Alana were barely teenagers when they walked into my life. Nick and I loved taking them to Six Flags. We would hit up the Wildwood water parks, and we spent every October mapping out our road trips to every haunted house within a 2-hour radius. Our first trip together to Six Flags was May 2013. We all ditched work and school. We were so pumped to ride Nitro. So You know, we're riding Nitro and we get off and like the three of them are laughing so hard they can like barely walk, and I'm just like, what, like did I miss something? So Kris is literally grabbing his ass. He's like, bruh, I think I just shit myself. So I learned many things that day. The first thing I learned was when someone says to you, bruh, I just shit myself, that really means that was amazing. I had so much fun. The second thing I learned was an additional extended vocabulary, including Gucci, bull, and come on, bruh. But the most important thing I learned was, and not just falling in love with Nick, I fell in love with an entire family. Kris was the little brother I always wanted, but better. He truly brought humor and happiness to every situation. Kris, Alana, Terry, and Moose were always our biggest cheerleaders at football, until Kris and Alana were of age to become our teammates. We tore shit up on the turf together. Kris was never selfish. He always pitched me the football so we could get the 2 extra girl points. And Moosey was still our biggest cheerleader, never missing a game. Now, he would talk our damn ears off on the sidelines, and our friends, and our teammates, and their family, and all of their friends. The reality was, he was so proud of his children. All he wanted was to be a part of every single minute with his family. Moose, Terry, you did a stand-up job raising an all-star crew of children. So the years came and went, and our family continued to grow. Moose and Kris became very special to my children. I'm forever grateful Kris got to spend this past summer with Nick, Scarlett, and Lincoln, taking them into the forest, as my kids would say, but that's actually disc golf. They came home with the funniest stories, and I'm beyond grateful that Kris was able to shine his special light on them during this time. Kris and Moosey never missed a birthday party for my kids. They were always fashionably late. Kris would walk in 2 hours late, straight off his flight, looking like a goddamn stud in his pilot uniform. Moosey was also always 2 hours late, but he just liked to sleep until noon. And hey, better late than never, Moosey. Kris, Moose, thank you for welcoming me to your family, for trusting me to love Nick. Thank you for being the best uncle and pop-pop to Scarlett and Lincoln. You both taught me to pump the brakes. For those of you who don't know me, I'm slightly neurotic. Relax a little bit, laugh a little bit more. You taught me to find the happiness and light in every situation. And when you're working your ass off, it's okay to smile and just be happy. And most importantly, to love unconditionally, always. Kris, I wanted to grow old with you. I wanted to be there when you married Hannah. God, I really wanted to snuggle your babies. I would give anything to make this different, but here we are. And instead, I promise you, I will give this family all of my heart and soul, and to always make you proud. Fly high, guys. Till next time.
Bye. I just want to thank you all so much for being here. For Kris and Moose, they would be so happy to see all of you, and for all of the love for our family. Words don't do Kris justice. Kris is the absolute light of my life, my other half. He's my everything. He's my absolute soulmate. He's my everyday, and he is my forever. The plans we have for us and for our lives, to go on our own, to grow old together, are sky high. It's completely unimaginable that seeing you Monday morning before you left is the last time. I just wait around for you to call me and say, hey Hanners, I love you, I'm on my way home. I love Kris more than anything in this world, and I truly do know how much he loves me. He made sure I always knew his love for me and how proud he is of me. He promised me the biggest life when he swore we were going to be so rich. He always showed me pictures of planes that he wanted me to buy him because he swore I was going to make it big. He would say, "Hanners, please buy me this big plane one day for Kris Jr." I can't even begin to express the way Kris has impacted all of us. He's literally the funniest person in the world. He can make me laugh harder than anything. The purest soul and the happiest person ever, always with the biggest smile on his face. I can never look at him smiling at me and not smiling back. He truly makes me the happiest girl in the world and is the true love of my life. I was so grateful to see Kris Monday morning before he went to the airport and I cooked him breakfast. I mean, we all knew the kid could eat. I was making him French toast, and by the time the pieces are still cooking, he's on his 4th slice, completely housing it. I mean, we basically went through the whole loaf of bread at that point. Kris always said that I had to go first because he knew I couldn't do this life without him. I wish every day that he gives me the strength to keep pushing forward one step at a time. Kris is my person, and I'm not saying goodbye to my forever. I just cannot wait to see you again. I miss you so much every single day, so give heaven some hell until I meet you there.
Anyone who has lost someone suddenly that they love so much knows how unbearable the pain feels. You go from the depths of inconceivable despair to the joy of talking about all the memories that you've shared with them. It comes in waves. To not only lose a father, a brother, a grandfather, but both at the same time is just unimaginable. Moose was the happiest man in the world around his wonderful kids and grandkids. How he beamed when he talked about them. And he sure loved to talk.
Yes, he did.
Kris Noon, he was just an incredible young man. He had the most infectious, room-brightening smile you've ever seen. Anyone that knew him, that he had the best outlook on life, and he never had a bad day. I am so proud of him for his accomplishments in the aviation field. I could burst. But I'm the most proud of him as the funny, kind, wonderful, carefree person that he was. He packed a lot of living into his short life, and what an impact he made in the world. I'd like to say he never had a bad day. He never let anything roll off his back. He adored his mother, his brothers, his sister, his dad, and his friends, and loved his girlfriend, Hannah, so much. Hannah. I've also had the pleasure of stuffing about 8 of Kris's friends into my tiny little Saab to take home from the movies one night. What a great group of guys, the gang. Joey, Nolan, Square, Colin, Audie, Eisler, Hartson, and so many more. I couldn't count them all. He loved every single minute he spent with those guys and his family, and we all loved him back just as hard. They're his brothers too. His sister Lala was his whole heart. They were inseparable and best friends. When Terry had Kris, she wanted him to have somebody. So she had Alana. Her plan worked out perfectly. No need for play dates and 2 older brothers to babysit. It was simply joyful to see the bond they so closely shared together. This tragedy teaches us all to be kind and take chances, be grateful for today, and never take anything for granted. Life is truly a blessing. Break the rules, forgive quickly, love truly, and never, ever regret anything that makes you smile. After all, grief is proof that you loved. Fly high, Moosey and Kris. You will be missed more than you could ever imagine.
Okay, my name is Linda Noon, and I'm the firstborn of John Charles Noon II. I remember when I was, oh gosh, I saw pictures. He bought a PT from Moorestown Airport before a house when I was born. And he set me on the wing and took picture, came home and told Mom, sorry, we're still living at my parents' house, but I had to buy a plane before a house. We'll get to the house soon. After that, he took me to the airport. Well, I followed him wherever he went. I can remember working on Bill Weitzel's plane, from Flying W. I mean, the years together with me and my dad, and then my brother when he got older, was just my whole life. Going to Coops in Pemberton Airport, where John learned how to do his A&P, because Robert Cooper was an AI and A&P, and my dad, he was an airline pilot. I was so proud when he came to school and took me out of school for a month so we could go down to Florida and watch his plane fly over. He used to fly a Constellation. So then when John got the bug and he started following in Pop's footsteps, I was right along beside. And Daddy had started this little idea to rebuild antique aircraft because Mommy had asked him, please don't leave us alone. You're traveling all over. You have to make a choice between family or airline pilot. So my dad took family. And as a result, he had 4 wonderful kids, me being number 1 and John being number 2, and Susan being number 3 and Janet being number 4. We all adored my dad. We all adored our life at home. We were always going to the airport and playing with the planes. Then I worked for a while, like many, many years, 480 years as a nurse. No, 48, I'm sorry. Anyway, when I finally retired, it's 2017, my brother says, well, you've been working for a while, how about we get back into it? I said, oh yeah. I said, what you got in mind? He goes, a 175, it's in pieces. It's been in pieces for 8 years. Nobody thinks we can do it. But if you help me, I think we can do it. So we went back and forth with him for a year and a half or 2, I can't remember. And yes, we put that 175 together. Then he asked me, do you want to take a spin? Oh no, I twisted some of those bolts. There's no way I'm getting up there, you know? So anyway, to make a long story short, we sold it to a guy in North California, and I got to watch it on the radar as it was going across the country saying, damn, I helped put that together and I'm 60-something years old. I can't believe it. So then he got me hooked on the RV and it just went on. And so happy that because of JC and all the family supporting them and everything, I knew we were going to make it. We had been praying for years. I said, John, Pop didn't make it. He died young with his little business. We're going to take this. We are going to take this. God is blessing our family finally. I know we're going to make it. And he has. He's in the sky with all his previous pilot buddies. My Uncle Ronnie, my mom's brother, he was a pilot. My Kris, my mom's second wife, who was my dad's best friend, and he was a pilot. Coop's up there. I wound up taking care of him at the nursing home. That was just God sending him to me because he wound up on my floor, and I took care of him and made sure that he watched all the planes going to South Philly out of the 3rd floor window of Cooper River Nursing Home in Pennsauken. So everything's full circle. They're all up there having a ball, and someday the rest of my aviation family and me. I don't fly, I just wish I had the nerve to, but I love to turn the wrenches on the ground. So God bless you all up there. They're having a ball. Amen.
Everyone, I don't really have anything prepared, but I just felt like I had to say something. Kris was loved as a first officer at Spirit. I had the pleasure of flying with Kris 3 or 4 times. I always looked forward to our trips once I saw his name pop up on my schedule. Every flight went by quickly, whether we were talking about fantasy football, his girlfriend, his terrible sunglasses, his family or friends. The Atlantic City crew base is a tight-knit family, and to us he was the new little brother. I truly loved flying with him, and he will sorely be missed. Thank you. I do just
want to say one funny story. The first time I met him, he just got back from the country concert in Atlantic City for that 3-day weekend thing. And he had this mustache. And I'd never met him before. But I'd never met him. I saw him in the parking lot and I go, hey man, nice to meet you. I go, you missed a spot shaving there, you know? And he thought it was funny and I knew he was cool then, and I'm gonna miss him, so.
All of you, fair warning. I've had about 6 or 7 vodkas. It's a rough day for me. There's my little bull, my Moose. I'm gonna start with Moose. Moose is the cheapest, tightest motherfucker you ever meet in your entire life. Period. He used to ask me and JC, yo, can we go pick up this plane? We gotta pick up this plane in Maryland. Sure, no problem. We'll go pick up this plane, Moose, no problem. We drive down to Maryland. This guy wants $7,000 for this fucking plane. We left this guy's house. We paid $1,200 for this plane. I said, Moose, how do you go from $7,000 to $1,200? He goes, shut up. That equipment, that plane and radios were $10,000. But I'm gonna get this thing for $1,200. I'm like, whatever, I don't give a shit. I'm just driving the truck, I don't care. Moosey got this guy for $1,200. We bought this plane. Me and JC are driving back. Having a good old time. We're like, you know, let's pull over and stop on the side of the road. We're going to get ourselves a 12-pack. Moosey just made probably $10,000 in profit. Me and JC look back and say, Moose, we're going to get a 12-pack Coronas. You know, I ain't got no money. Moose, I'm putting all this fuel in this truck. I'm pulling this trailer. I'm getting this fucking plane back for you. You're going to make $20,000, $30,000 in profit. I ain't got no money. All right, no problem. I'm sure there's a picture of it right here. Right up here, there's probably a picture of me, JC, Nick, and Moosey pushing this plane into the driveway in Terrace Avenue. Oak Terrace, whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't give a shit. Another time, this son of a bitch takes me up to New York City. New York City, there's certain roads you can't drive a truck and trailer on because they have them arch bridges on. So me, Moosey, JC, we drive up, we look at this plane. He buys this plane. Guy was asking probably $10,000 for it. You know what Moosey gets it for? $3,000. Tightest son of a bitch I ever met in my life. We're driving back with this plane. The guy says, how you guys going home? Oh, we're taking a parkway back. You can't drive a truck in a trailer on parkway. That's illegal. You can't do that. Moosey says, well, we just came that way. We're going back that way. Fuck it. Who cares? You know what I mean? I got this plane. I'm taking it back to Oak Terrace, and we're going to make some money on it, right? Or he drives this son of a bitch all the way back to Oak Terrace. You know what? He put that son of a bitch back together, and he sold it and made money, didn't he? He made as much money as he possibly fucking could. But I'll tell you what, I made some bad fucking mistakes in my life. I spent some time in the fucking joint, and every fucking week, fucking Moosey or JC sent me a fucking video, sent me a picture of us standing in the driveway with that fucking plane. Just remind me of the good times. Anybody here stand up so you can tell me you ever seen fucking Kris or fucking Moosey with a fucking frown on their face? Never. Not fucking once. Ever. They were solid fucking people. Both of them were always fucking happy as fucking could be. And that was fucking Moosey. Moosey, to the day he died, he'll get the last penny out of your fucking pocket. But that motherfucker was a solid fucking dude. Happy as could be 24/7. He never had a bad thing to say about anybody. He never had a bad thing to say about anything. He was always a positive fucking dude. And it trickled down to fucking Kris. Kris, 100%. He worked for fucking Piedmont, was flying for fucking Piedmont. Am I saying it right? Piedmont? Yes. He was working for fucking Piedmont. And he wanted to get into bigger fucking planes, make more money, because he used to come to me at all the time as a little kid, man. And be like, because I own my own business. I'm a little business investor. I got like 3 nickels in my pocket, whatever. You know what I mean? He's like, what do I do, man? I said, look, Moosey himself, he's been trying to flip planes his whole fucking entire life, but he ain't got 2 nickels to fucking rub together because the motherfucker's tight. I said, but I'll tell you what, right now, do you. Do fucking you, little bull. It's my little fucking bull. Love that little motherfucker, man. Little bull. I just tell him, do you. Make your fucking money. If you want to help your fucking brother and you want to help your fucking dad on the fucking side, but do fucking you. Make your fucking money, get your pension, get your retirement set up for you and fucking ahead and do your fucking thing, man. So he's coming to me all the time and talk to me about that. And I said, do you. So he said, look, I'm gonna go to fucking Spirit, man. They can make me more money. I can make more money in Spirit. I said, all right. Go to fucking Spirit. Do what you gotta do. If you can make more money, make the move. JC called me one day in the office. Me and JC are partners. Love him to death. He calls me, he says, yo, Little Bull's making the move, man. He's going to fucking Spirit. I said, good. Make that move, make that fucking money, man. It's about him. He's 24 years old. Gotta make that money. You know what I mean? Fuck sitting around. Life is fucking short. You never know. You wake up the next day, you might not be here. You never fucking know. Every single fucking one of us in this crowd take life for granted. Every single one of us think that you wake up, you don't realize. You may wake up, this might be your last fucking day on earth. Look at Kris and look at Moose. You never know. We all take it for granted. I told Kris, man, get it while you're young, man. You never know when you might not be here. Get it while you're young. So he said, all right, I'm gonna take the shot. I'm gonna go to fucking Spirit, try to make this money. I'm gonna get it. I said, Kris, you get it. Me and Kris were tight, man. When he was, I don't know, Mama Noon, how old was he when I was doing your kitchen?
Very little.
12, 13 years old. I'm remodeling their kitchen. I'm in his kitchen. No, Kris, I bring him his first set of Playboys and shit. I said, Kris, take these, you put these underneath your bed, man. Don't tell your fucking mom where you got them from, right? You know what I mean? You do you. I just want to make sure you're straight. I want to make sure you're on the other side. You know, don't jump the fence. Stay on this side, will you please? You know what I mean? He took them fucking Playboys, man. He stuck them under his bed and he stayed solid. I tell my mom. Sure enough, Mama Noons, her hound ass, she found them. You know what I mean? She came to me, she says, you give my boy them Playboys? I said, you damn right I gave your boy them Playboys. Because she gave me a little fist bump, gave me a hug. She said, all right, you're all right. I said, you ain't doing no wrong. You ain't doing no wrong. You know what I mean? Give a little man some Playboys. He's loving life. You know what I mean? Love that little motherfucker. Anyway, but here by now, whatever. A couple years go by, JC calls me and says, yo, Moosey's getting ready to switch over to Spirit. Their home base is in Fort Lauderdale. I got a house in Fort Lauderdale, working a little shack, whatever, you know what I mean? Can he stay with you? I said, of course he can. It's my fucking family. He can stay there as long as he wants. My truck's there, he can stay there as long as he wants. This little son of a bitch stayed at my house, went over, stole my sunglasses, whatever, they were in my truck. This kid is so respectful. Little Kris is so respectful. My house on the second floor, I got a sauna up on the second floor. I says, Kris, you never tried a sauna out? He goes, I wouldn't go upstairs on your second floor. I said, Kris, just because the mother-in-law suite's on the first floor, you got the whole house to yourself. You can do whatever you want. He goes, no, I wouldn't do that. I said, Kris, your family, I love you to death, dude. If you want to go upstairs on the second floor, sleep in my bed, use my shower, use my, whatever, do whatever you want. He goes, no, I wouldn't do that to you, Steve. I said, Kris, your family, you can do whatever you want. This kid was so fucking respectful. He lived in my house for 6 months. He never even stepped foot on the second floor of my house. He didn't even know I had a fucking steam shower on the second floor. I said, Jesus Christ. Anyway, he graduated Spirit, or whatever size plane it was. He was going to school because Spirit's home base was in Fort Lauderdale, and he graduated and he was able to fly them planes. And he took off, started doing his own thing. Literally, the day he graduated, he sent me a picture of his fucking license, whatever. They're flying him to Montego Bay or some shit and somewhere else, whatever. And like he was in my house for 6 months, whatever. I don't care. I love the kid to death. He's there as long as he wants. I call him up. I'm like, yo, Kris, where you at? It's 2 beers. Let's hang out. Because one minute he was down there, me and my old lady, him and Hannah, we'd go out. Remember, we had dessert. And he ate all the fucking dessert. Fucking heifer. I got a picture. I ordered a dessert tray with 6 different desserts. And little Moosey ate every single dessert on there. Me and my old lady didn't get not one. Little fucker. Anyway, no big to it. Whatever. I call him up like 6 months later. I'm like, yo, Moose, where you at? You know what I mean? I'm your best friend when you need to stay at my place. You know what I mean? You can't call nobody. You can't send me a fucking telegram, something. You know, I'm sorry to show my age. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Send me something. You know what I mean? Where you been? Where you flying? Nothing. So, this fucking tragic accident happened on what, Monday? The Saturday prior, 2 days prior, he calls me. And this is, I regret this to the day I die. He calls me and says, yo, Moose, I got a layover in Fort Lauderdale. I'm out on the fucking boat, my brother. He says, yo, Moose, I'm in Fort Lauderdale. You down here? I said, yeah, I'm down here. What are you doing? I said, I'm on a fucking boat, enjoying life, brother. Me and my wife. Have a good old time. He goes, they got me staying overnight. When we get together tonight, have a drink, have a beer. I said, yeah, 100%. Well, previously, he was playing me out, little motherfucker. You know what I mean? 20 years old, he's playing me out. I said, I just lent you my house for 6 months. Every time I try to get with you, you play me the fuck out, dude. Come on, man. I understand you're busy, got a sweet little ass at home. I get it. I get it. You know what I mean? But like, come on, give me some time. Give me some love, man. He played me the fuck out. So you know what I did? Out of spite, he called me that fucking Saturday night. I'm out on a boat. I said, yeah, Moose, I'll call you. I'll call you when I get off this boat. And me and you, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do beers. Me, you, and my old lady. He was never like a third wheel, because he was always a fucking smile. The kid never fucking, nothing but fucking smile, man. It's fucking insane, man. The kid never had a bad bone in his body. I said, I'll call you when we get off this boat. We're gonna go to Rocco's Tacos, right, babe? Me and you went to Rocco's Tacos, and he loved that place. You know what I did? Out of spite, I didn't call him. I said, fuck you, Kris. So I knew for the next time that I saw him, I'm like, how's it feel, dude? How's it feel? You played me out the last fucking 6 times we went to go hang out. How's it fucking feel? One of the biggest regrets of my life, man. Because if I knew that fucking kid wasn't gonna be here today, it fucking kills me. I would do anything to fucking take that fucking night back and spend just that one fucking night with him and just hang out, do some fucking beer, give a fucking cheers and say, man, I love you, little bull. That was my little fucking bull, man. 24 years old. He didn't deserve this shit. You know what I mean? That fucking kid, not to disrespect anybody in this fucking crowd, but that little motherfucker accomplished more than half of these motherfuckers in this fucking crowd. You know what I mean? That motherfucker had his foot on the fucking throttle and was doing what the fuck he needed to do to provide for his fucking family and do what he needed to fucking do. That was a fucking ace in the fucking hole. I apologize for all the fucking cursing. That's just me. I had 6 fucking Coronas. It is, or 6 vodkas. It is what the fuck it is. I'm sorry. It's a rough day for me. I lost fucking man Moose. I lost little fucking bull. It is what it is to me. I'm sorry. But, you know, everybody's fucking uptight nowadays. Fuck. I wish more than anything I didn't tell that fucking little motherfucker. I wish I didn't fucking. I wish to God that I could take that time back and not play him out, because I just wanted to see him one more time and be like, yo, how's it feel? You know what I mean? You play me the fuck out. Every time I try to hang out with you, you play me the fuck out. I'm playing you a fuck. I wish to God that I didn't do that. Because you never fucking know when it's going to be your last day on the fucking earth. And that little motherfucker did not deserve this. God works in mysterious fucking ways. But I can tell you right now, solid fucking kid, man. Solid fucking kid. You can't take that different away from him. If anybody say anything fucking different, come see me. I'll punch you square in your fucking mouth. Period. Same thing with fucking Moose. I've never seen a fucking bad word or a sorry fucking thing come out of either Moosey's mouth or my little bull's mouth. I'll remember that to the fucking day I die. Alright? Y'all enjoy yourselves, raise your cups, have a fucking toast. A little fucking Moose, my little bull, my big bull. Amen. I love you fucking guys both. Terry, my heart goes out. I wish I could fucking, I'd give you anything for, I'd give you my life in a heartbeat just to bring them back. I love you both much.
I got a funny story related to this. I spent 2.5 months with Kris at Spirit in flight training, and Kris had his F-150. He gave him his F-150 to drive to and from school, and every now and again Kris would give us a ride, because we're all like, we don't want to go on the bus, we'll go with Kris. Well, one day we get in the truck, and Kris is just, he's upset. I'm like, Kris, what's wrong, man? He goes, man, I got a text message. I got a flat tire, and he knows about it. He called me and told me I got a flat tire. I better get it fixed. So we're pulling off the side of the road to go get this flat tire fixed on the way to class. We're like, Kris, we're gonna be late, man. We're on our way to class. He said, no, man, he's tracking me right now. If I don't get this tire fixed, he's not gonna let me drive the truck the rest of the time we're in class. I said, shit, well, let's go get him get this flat tire fixed, because we want to ride with Kris. He's got a nice truck. But now it all makes sense. I had no idea who.
Left side.
Yeah, see? Pastor side, left side.
no idea who his friend was, but seeing it now, well, one, thank you for letting Kris give us a ride every day, and we're sorry about your flat tire. Thank you guys for sharing Kris with me for 2.5 months, and coming out to this event. I was nervous because I don't know anybody here. I just wanted to be present, and seeing what this community has and the people that they lost. I'm so sorry for you guys, but I'm so happy that I was part of this life and this moment in time. So thank you guys.
When I heard about this funeral, I just felt that I had to come. And I have never felt the way I feel right now. I feel like this family I'm part of this family. I've never met them before, and it's overwhelming to me how I have been accepted here today. And just a short background. One of the reasons why I came is that I soloed in a Ronca 7AC 65 years ago. And it just seemed like I had to come to this memorial. And just a little background, my son was he was a major in the Air Force, and he and I were pilots together ever since he was like 6 years old. I took my 2 boys flying from the old Turner Airport, and I thought, boy, these kids will love it. I think my oldest boy was 6, and my youngest son, David, was 4. And I flew around, and when I landed, I looked back, and they were both sound asleep in the back seat. And that was the way that we started in flying. But again, it's a community. The reason I'm here, it's a community, the aviation community. If you lose one person in a community, it hurts everybody. And that's why I felt I had to be here. And I am just thankful for this family, the way they shared everything. And if you don't mind, I'm going to read something. My wife died about 3 months ago, and before she died, she used to like to have me read a little prayer. And I'm going to read this prayer that I used to read to her before she died. And my son also died about 10 years ago. But I want to read this little prayer, and I'll just end with this. And this is from the scriptures, Numbers 6:24-26. The Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face to shine on you and be gracious to you. And may the Lord turn his face toward you and give you peace. And that's my prayer for these folks that were lost. Thank you.
This crowd is amazing. I've never been to a memorial service this big before, and I am just blown away by it. And I'm sure that John and Kris are so honored and so happy to see everybody here. And I do believe they're here. I do, in my heart, believe they're here. They were flying high with the angels zipping around the clouds, but they saw all these people and they had to come down. And John could talk anybody into anything. So if the life review was due today, he probably said, God, you got to postpone that. We got someplace else to go. So I'm sure they're here with us really right now. And I didn't know Kris that well. I just knew him through his dad, John. I was John's girlfriend up until the present time. And I knew Kris. I talked to him a few times, but I didn't know him that well. But just an amazing guy from everything that everybody has said and everything his dad said about him. You know, so brilliant to have such a career at 24 years old. Just absolutely incredible. But anyway, I want to just talk about, I guess, what John meant to me, how we met, and that type of thing. That's what I can relate to. And the saying, a good man is hard to find, comes to my mind when I think of John. And a good man is hard to find, especially when you are a lady of a certain age and you are on the internet dating sites. You know, then it becomes almost like just a diamond in, you know, a pile of coal to find a good man. But I had been on the sites for a while, and I was used to not really having the greatest results. You know, people wouldn't look like their picture, or so many people, you know, by their 60s have been beaten down in life, and they don't have any zest for life anymore, and they're kind of miserable. So, you know, make a date with somebody, and get to the restaurant, be waiting, looking at my watch, be waiting. It's like, are they going to turn up? Well, then eventually maybe I'd see the door open. I'd see this little guy going up like this, creaking in. And I'd think to myself, sure, that's got to be my date. Sure enough, I'd be right. And didn't look a thing like their picture, and would sit down, and negativity. They hate retirement. Their pension sucks. Their ex-wife is still getting alimony. I'd ask about the kids. Oh, I haven't seen them in years. You know, just a total waste of time. And then, like, God forbid, when they would find out I was a nurse, then the rest of the night I'd have to be diagnosing their ailments. I'd be asked to recommend arthritis creams, all kinds of stuff. So I'd get out of my car after that, and I'd sit in my car, and sometimes I'd laugh, sometimes I'd cry, and I'd just think to myself, this is just friggin' hopeless. I mean, I should just give it up and stay home. But anyway, things changed for me. On October 17th, 2020, I had a date with John. So I figure, okay, another one. He looks really young in his picture. He couldn't possibly be a recent picture. He has to be 20 years old. But anyway, so I pulled up in Philomena's parking lot in Blackwood, and I get in, and I glance over the car, sitting in there. He actually got there before me. I wasn't waiting. And he hops out of his car, and he walks over real fast and opens up the door for me, and I'm like, John? He goes, yeah. Karen, yeah. Oh, wow, okay, let's go in. So we went in, we sat down, and as you know, he can talk. I didn't have to worry about the conversation. I can be a little quiet at times, but he would talk, and just mostly about his family. His family meant so much to him. And he talked about how he worked for years as an electrician, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, but it was all worth it because his kids were turning out great. And he told me about what each and everybody was doing and how successful they were. And I just was like, this is fabulous. And we found out we had so much in common. Politics, we were in agreement on family being important. I only have one child, but it means the world to me. I'm all about family. Religion, both Christians. I was kind of a little away from a religion at the time, but actually through the time that I spent with him, he actually kind of got me more into my faith again. But anyway, I went out to my car then after that date, and he asked if he could see me again. I was like, sure, definitely. So I go out to my car, I sit in my car, and instead of like being totally disgusted, I was like, oh my God, wow, did that just happen? Did I actually meet a great guy that I'm really interested in? It's like, oh my God. So I was delighted, went home, you know, told my girlfriends. So he kept up calling. So we got closer over the last couple years. Just had the greatest time, even if we just watched TV and ate snacks and played with the cats. I mean, we could have fun just doing little stuff like that. And his kids too. Another thing I liked about him, as much as he talked about his kids and how fabulous they were doing, he didn't take all the credit. He was very quick to say that their mom worked really, really hard doing gigs, and he gave her absolute equal credit. He did not take all the credit for himself. He was that kind of guy. So things were going well for us. Marriage was discussed. We were not engaged. He hadn't proposed, but it was definitely something that we were considering. And he was so excited about moving down here and getting into the plane business more. And he'd say, like, hon, do you think people think I'm a dreamer? Do you think I'm having pipe dreams? I'm like, no, you have an amazing skill set and everything is going to fall into place. I said, you are so talented and you got a couple of your sons interested in the same thing, and I know you wanted to do it with your dad and you couldn't, but this time it's going to work. And he'd say, yeah, I know. He says, God loves us, it's going to work. So everything was falling into place. Everything was going great until last Monday. Everything fell into place. The plane fell out of the sky and it smashed all our dreams. It smashed so much. Has thrown the family into a tailspin. I'm sure you're all strong. I do have faith in the Noons that they will come out of this on top because they're strong, strong people. But, oh God, it's so hard. And I walk around the house talking to him now like a crazy lady. And I say, oh honey, please when I die, baby, when I die, because I just want to feel your bear hug again. He made me feel special and safe and secure and loved like I had not felt in either a long time or ever. And I don't know how I'm going to go on. I know he would want me to go on and be happy, but it's going to take time and it's going to be hard. And I don't know, I think about what am I going to do now? I don't know, maybe eventually I will have to go back into that meat market, I don't know, but nobody could fill his shoes. Nobody could fill his shoes, but at this point, if somebody could even just fill them halfway, that might be good enough, because all I can say is, John C. Noon III is one tough, one hard act to follow, and he's irreplaceable, and there will never be another like him.
Pop Warner football, you need to get the pads going. I'm gonna need everybody to get the pads going real quick, please. You got something in your hands? I need to hear. I'm gonna need a Noon on the count of 3. You guys got me? 1, 2, 3. Noon. That's every time I see him. Noon. All right, that's enough. So, I'm Chris's most handsome, smartest cousin. Grew up down the street from him, Cinnaminson. Aunt Terry, she's a mother to me, so she's a mother to all the boys over here, P-Town boys. Just growing up, he was my guy. It was nice to have somebody my age. We could both at the same time reel in each other's mother. So it was like those two together were firecrackers. So at all times, me and Kris could always we get the look and hey, Aunt Terry or Aunt Sue, we always know how to reel them in. But most recently, I just got engaged. My fiance Erica right here, holla. Kris hooked me up. I hit him up. I said, yo guys, I'm gonna need you to fly me up. I'm gonna be Mr. Romeo. Took a flight around Philly, and I asked Erica to marry me while we're in the air, and we landed, and all the family and friends were there at the airport, Flying W. It was a beautiful sight. That was me and Erica. Kris didn't do no barrel rolls that day, but boy did Erica. She had a little upset stomach, and he goes, yo Mo, it's not the first time, it's not the last time, So she had lost some Chick-fil-A on the side of the seat, and we go up and around the city. We fly over where the house I grew up in Cinnaminson, my pop's house. He's got a gas station looking shed in the backyard, big shed. On the top of it is American flag. So we're flying, and Kris knows where it's at. It's Chris's, it's Uncle Monk's house, Big flag. What do? This man, he's got a spotlight shining at the airplane. Might as well have a laser beam. But we get back. It was all fun and dandy. I'm going to take pictures, but I'm like, I got to clean up Erica's lunch. Kris goes, yo, Mo, take your pictures. I'll take care of it. That was Kris. He was just always the man. He set up the whole thing. We had a GoPro, had the whole thing on video. I setting this thing up. It was great just talking to him because nah, yo, we got a whole team on it. You don't got to worry about nothing. And I did it. And I shouldn't have trusted him as much as I did, but I did because it's Kris. And I was like, nah, Kris got everything under control, you know? I didn't have to do anything. He got my mom flying down driving down to Bridgeton to get the GoPro. We got JC. I don't know. JC did a whole bunch of work in the background, but yeah, he did. Moose would have lost it. But we got it out of the carpet. But that's it. I mean, it was the last experience I had with it was beautiful. I thank you all for being here. I love you all very much. If you ever anybody ever feels like they're in a hard spot and you need somebody to talk to, I please reach out to me. I love to talk. I love to listen. So, Nick Delper Scully, thank you.
I'm gonna jump around. You guys gotta bear with me. I'm gonna like Nikki Dell and my partner Steve and the rest of my team from Extreme Builders. They'll attest. It's kind of organized chaos, kind of all over the place. We're going to touch real quick on, like what Nick was saying, I was a big part of that. Kris was a nervous wreck. We didn't tell Moose about anything, because Moose would have just overlooked the entire thing. He just would have overthought the whole thing. It's just a big giant. I said, Kris, let's do it, man. It's no big deal. So it's funny, good friend of mine, Ben Bishop, was doing a speaking at Cross Keys Airport for the local EAA chapter. So the plan was me and my daughter Gemma, we flew that 172 right there. We flew that over to Cross Keys, and then Kris flew next to me in the other 172 we had. And then I landed at Cross Keys, and Kris kept on going to Flying W to pick you up. Fast forward, like I said, my buddy Ben had a real nice showing. We finished up that event. I said, oh, Kris is coming back. He's done. He's wrapped up with Nick. So I take off, and Kris is circling above me. We come back here at night, and we're talking on the radio to radio. And I says, you know, how'd it go? How'd it go? He said, good, but shoo. He said, Erica had a little accident in the back. I said, no big deal, man, no big deal. We'll get it cleaned up. We just can't tell Moose about any of this, because he'll have a heart attack. Oh, man. Shoo, these guys, man. It's they were my best friends. We had three-way calls. We had the group message every day, every second and every day. My team at work can attest. I would always get my balls broken.
Get off the phone!
Get off the phone, yeah. Yeah, what am I, is it extreme time? Is it Terrier time? Is it high noon air? Is it noontime LLC? They don't know what the hell's going on. It's all good though, it was all family at the end of the day. Going back to what Steve was saying, Kris really looked up to him, man. He's kind of underselling that relationship. So we're gonna go back. Like I said, I'm gonna jump around a little bit here, guys, but I want you to hear this. Kris didn't know. We were pushing him. We all, my dad, me, we all had aspirations of having an aviation career, right? But the old man got in the union. That seemed like a good idea to me, so I got in the union and went to work. And the more I worked, the more money I made, the harder that dream drifted away from me of being a pilot. So my dad's phone. I get a call the other day. It's a fucking guy from United Kingdom. Hey, chap. Yo, I can't make this shit up, man. I can't make it up. He says, is that deal still on? I have no idea what... The old man's talking to somebody in Europe. Yeah. Yeah. Matt, 310, Ohio. That's what it pops up. Good friend of ours. We sold a plane to a couple years ago.
robbed him. What's funny?
Hey, he got the better end of the deal, if you ask Moose. No. It was so we're trying to guide Kris, like Nick said. I wrote a speech, but I'm gonna shoot from the hip here. Nick's was I can't even follow up with his testament, but like Nick said, he was a son. Kris was a son to me. He wasn't a brother. He was a son. There's a 13-year age difference. So we would take Kris and Alana out in the carriage, and I thought it was cool trying to pick up girls. He said, "Hey, whatever it took." It didn't work. It didn't work by any means, but hey, I gave it hell trying. All right. So Kris is trying to find his way after high school. Him and his bulls that's what they said, man. It was the bulls, man. It was the young bull. That was my young bull. So I said, all right, let's send Kris to work with Uncle Steve. Uncle Steve changed my life. He'll change yours. That man is a one-of-a-kind individual. For you guys that have not gotten the chance to meet him, he'll take the shirt off his back right there and give it to you. That's my business partner in Extreme Builders, and we've built a very successful thing. And he is one of a kind. You will not meet another individual with that kind of drive and passion for life as him right there. So I said, all right, let's send, we're going to teach young bull. Let's send him to work with Uncle Steve for a summer. That lasted for, we're going to get Earl up here. Earl, you just stay standing, all right? Don't fall over on me. Earl's about 168 years old. But he's got the heart of a 25-year-old for all you single ladies out there. He ain't dead yet.
93.
Oh, I'm sorry, 93. Earl, like I said, we're bouncing around here. Earl,
93, but full of Viagra. He can help any one of you out if you need it.
Exactly.
Listen, I'm not a speaker. Public speaking, I'm not very good at that at all. But I do want to say this about Kris. I'm the guy that soloed Kris. Yes. You know, to pilots, the first solo is a big thing. Pilots usually never forget their first solo. I flew with Kris 2 hours. And after 2 hours of flight time, I said, "Kris, you're good to go." And he did 2 takeoff and landings. That was it. Then after that, I helped him get his private pilot license. I don't want to take credit for that, because he already knew what to do for the private pilot. He already knew. But what else can I say?
We love you, Earl.
Earl's a staple, and he taught me how to fly too.
I taught him how to fly, and I helped him get his private pilot license.
He did. Let's give it up for Earl. 94 years old, still giving it hell out here. 93?
Why'd you add that 1 year on there?
I'm sorry. 93.
It must not be 94.
Don't get it fucked up. Give somebody a little bit of respect. He'll never forget Kris, and he'll never forget Noon, but Noon will never forget Earl, and Kris will never forget Earl. That's right. You know what I mean? That man did a lot for them, period.
Yes. So we send old little bull Kris to work with Uncle Steve for a summer.
That's me,
Yeah.
Uncle Steve.
That's Uncle Steve. He'll shoot you straight.
I'm gonna shoot you straight. I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. No disrespect. I love all of you. Not trying to be disrespectful, but I dropped the F-bomb a lot. Period. Sorry. I was working at Aluminum Shapes, River Road in Pennsauken, and young Bull decided he wanted to go out drinking. Mama Noon, you remember this? Yes. Young Bull decided he wanted to go out drinking. Young Bull was working for me. And the whole purpose of him working for me is for me to beat his little punk ass into the ground, so he knew that you don't want to be a construction worker. And guess what? Time has come. You're my bitch now, bitch. So he went out with his friends. You're probably in the fucking crowd. His friends. Put them up. Put them up. Come on, put the cans up. Come on, take a sip. Don't be bitches. You know what I mean? This is for Kris. Mama Noon said, "Oh, you can't get up in time for work, bitch?" He's got a Band-Aid on his forehead because he passed out drunk and fell on the floor. Guess who dropped him off at Aluminum Shapes? Mama Noon. She said,
You're gonna get your ass to work.
"You're gonna get your ass to work because Uncle Steve ain't having that shit. There ain't no such thing as a no call, no show." So he was out all night with these punk motherfuckers over here. And he fell flat on his face. And he busted his forehead wide open, but he had a Band-Aid, and he came to work because Mama Noon dropped him off. And you know what I did? I didn't give him no sympathy. Why would I give him sympathy? Because I worked my ass off to get where I am today. So you know what? Little Moose worked his ass off all motherfucking day. Sorry about the fucking F-bomb. If you don't like it, catch the fucking train. Or a plane, wherever the fuck you want. You know what I mean? But you know what? You know, he came to me and said, he goes, "You know what? I don't want to do construction ever again." And you know what I said? I said, "You know what you need to do?" I said, "If you really want to fucking fly planes, do what the fuck you need to do to fly fucking planes. Don't follow in fucking Moosey's bullshit fucking footsteps and try to say, I want to flip planes, I'm going to make money, blah, 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 blah." Yeah, you can do that as a side hustle. Everybody's got a fucking side hustle. You know what I mean? Anybody who makes money in this fucking world, it's got a 9 to 5 that pays for their fucking 401k, it's got their fucking annuity, it's got their insurance, and they're making money. But they got a fucking side hustle. Period. Right, Mama Noon? We got a fucking side hustle. So I told little fucking Moosey, that's my fucking bull, I said, go get a fucking job, working for fucking American, which is, I think, Piedmont or some shit, whatever fucking name they call it, or fucking Spirit, whatever. I don't give a shit. Get yourself a 401k, get yourself a 9 to 5, but do your side hustle. Everybody makes a side hustle. And then grow. And if you know what? The best thing you could possibly do is pass Moose. Moose is your dad. Moose hustles planes. But you're going to get your 9 to 5, and you're going to make that fucking living. But you're going to do fucking hustle planes on the side with him, and you're going to pass him. It's the best thing you could possibly do. And you know what he did? He did that. He fucking came to me, he says, "You know what? I'm going to go to work for fucking Piedmont. I'm going to fucking start flying with these fucking planes." And he did. He did it. I said, "Great." And then he came to me, he says, "You know what? I got an opportunity to go work for fucking Spirit. They're paying me more money because they're going to put me in a bigger plane. I'm not going to be the little bitch planes." I was like, "No problem. Go fucking take your test. Get what you need to do to fly these big planes. You make more money, right?" "Yeah, I'm going to make more money." Whatever you got to do to make more fucking money. Fuck all these people around you. It's all about you. Make more money. Period. Period. Right? Am I wrong? Yeah. Am I wrong? Make more motherfucking money. Period. And that little fucking motherfucker was what, 24 years old? And he was fucking killing it. Killing it. No disrespect to any of you soft-ass bitches in this fucking crowd. That motherfucker was 24 years old and probably making more money than half of you motherfuckers. Because you know why? Because me, JC, and Moosey told him to go fucking do it. And you know what? He did it. Period. He fucking did it. You know what I mean? You know how many lazy assholes are fucking sitting around playing fucking PlayStation or sitting on their fucking Wii and wishing they could make fucking money and collect their fucking unemployment from the state and all our fucking taxes pay for it. This motherfucker was actually out there getting it. Period. Period. Am I fucking wrong? 100%. He was fucking getting it. Mama Noon, where the fuck are you at? Put your fucking hands up. That's your fucking son. He was a fucking representative of fucking what a true American is like. That motherfucker was getting it. Period. From all fucking angles. Period. That motherfucker was making it fucking 9 to 5 with fucking spirit, and he was hustling shit on the weekends with his dad and JC. That motherfucker was killing it. So let's all of us raise our fucking glasses and give a little respect to little Kris Noon and Moosey, because them motherfuckers were killing it. Period. Killing it. Sorry if I offended anybody.
Thank you, Stephen, for those kind, soft words. Shoo! This is the moose look, man. When you got the belt, when the belt went up and the two hands went on the belt. Tony, I know you're out there somewhere. He knows. Whoo, boy. Well, that pretty much sums that up. Yeah, I wrote something, man. I don't know where I'm doing here.
Shoot it from the hip.
Shoot it from the hip. Shoot it from the hip. Maybe I'll back into it a little bit. Just got Moose down here. We got the sold the Pensalkin house. You guys know. Sold that. Got Moose and Kris down here. They moved about a quarter mile from my house. Good friends of ours, the Bishop family. They're out there. Open their arms to me and my family. Hooked up, got us a little rental property from Moose and Kris. I mean, I could see it from across out my front door. I could see their house. Kris was he was all excited to get a dirt bike to start riding back and forth to my house. We were already mapping out the kids and mow the lawn for them. This was literally 3 weeks ago. He was just starting a whole new life. I'm thankful that. We asked the kids, right? So you go through a tragedy like this, tragedy, devastation. I don't care what word you want to come up with. There is no word for what is going on here. There is no words. So being a father and a family leader myself, how do you sell this to your kids? They don't. Do they know? Yeah, they know. Are they too young? No, my kids aren't too young to not know and not remember Moose and Kris. So you ask them, what's your favorite memory? We're glad we got to go to the football game with them on Friday. So this is a new thing. I'm real involved in the Woodstown Pirates, and a lot of them are here and present. It's a family. It's a family, and I'm blessed to have them part of my family. And they were just starting to get to meet Moose and Kris. As you can see behind me, them guys bled football. Woodstown bleeds football. We bleed football. My kids are in the programs. So the Friday before they passed, it's like Friday Night Lights down here in Salem County. It's a small community. Everybody goes to the games. Everybody knows everybody. Then the old man and Kris got the chance to bring my kids to the game on Friday. Me and Janae had some other plans. We couldn't make it. That was their memory. That was their favorite memory. That we got to go to the game with Moose and Kris. The old man said he's breaking balls. He says, "Yeah, by the end of this season, I'm going to know everybody's number. I'm going to know all their names." He loved it, man. He loved it. Yeah, they were. That was my team, man. Like I said, we would conversate every day about the next move, the next deal. This one's coming up, or we got to go fly. Kris has got to go fly here. Moose has got to go fix this. you know, this guy's got to do this. I mean, when I tell you that I was constantly in contact with these guys, aside from my wife and my kids, they were the two closest people in my life, period. It is devastating. It's a tragedy. My entire life was pulled from me. I don't know what to do. I'm blessed to have a huge aviation family around me, aside from my regular family and friends. I'm going to keep on keeping on. That's the only thing to do. I'm not done. People ask me, are you done flying? I went flying last night in that plane right there. My wife's scared to death. I got a little sit down last night. But I'm not giving up. I can't give up. Like I said, I got a lot of good people around me. They care about me. We're going to keep this thing going. Moose and Kris wouldn't want to see it any other way. We literally just started this business. Where's Christian? A month ago. Not even. It was all we had two customers so far. It was, you know, we got the hangar over there. I got Moose a little office. He got central air with a fridge. Oh, forget about it. A little coffee machine. He drink three pots of coffee a day, and probably do 1 hour of work a day. Anybody that knows him, you walk by that hangar, production shut down, shut down. Oh, he'd talk your ear off, man. I mean, from the high school football days, we're gonna go Rancocas Valley, 1971. I've heard this story probably 4 different ways. It was 90 degrees and sunny. It was dark and rainy. There was snow. There was ice. He had no legs. I mean, this guy could tell some stories, man. Shoo! So we go through the house. We're trying to find, I'm trying to get his car keys. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. They don't write a book for this. There's no way to navigate this situation. I says, all right, we got to go to the house to get his keys. I got to get the keys in the hangar. So we go over there. This football sitting on the counter. Just randomly. Moose was chaos, organized chaos. This man had more Post-it notes scattered throughout. I've never seen nothing like it. We always joke. So if anybody wants my TD Bank password, just look in the hangar window. The Post-it note is on the monitor. I shit you not. Go ahead, it's in there. His Social Security, his pension, it's right there. On a Post-it note. So the football says, winning score, winning touchdown, 1971, caught by yours truly, number 33, on a Post-it note that he just wrote last week. But I don't remember the score being that score, or the date. That was Moose, though. That was Moose, man. We grew up around aviation. People were asking me, how did you get into it? How'd you get started with this? Like Nick said, Pop was an airline pilot, Grandpop Noon. Uncle Kris, who Kris is named after, he was an airline pilot. My dad never got, he never got to the airlines, but he was a pilot. He got his license early on, 73, 72. He got his A&P license in 1979. He's been around the block, man. I've been flying my entire life as well. Like I said earlier, I got in the union, got to working, and time passed me by. I never got a chance to fly professionally like Kris. Yeah, they were good guys, man. This is a great turnout. It's great to see everybody. If you, like they said, if you knew them, There was never a bad day. There was never a bad day. I got the pleasure of working with my dad. So we were both in the union, and he fell in some hard times. He had an in-house account at GlaxoSmithKline with his partner Pete. Pete's floating around here somewhere. The war stories he would tell that if him and Pete weren't there, that whole building would burn down. True story, Pete. Yeah, they held that place together. What they did there is questionable. A lot of coffee. Yeah, they gave it hell there. Yeah. So they had a nice run. They were there, hell, man, 15, 20 years. Then the old man had to go back in Gen Pop, we call it, back in rotation. Fast forward, I had been in the union working in the field, not with them guys, with other companies. So I get the chance to pull him in with me. And Mark, my guy Mark's here from Bluestone, he's floating around here somewhere. I said, hey, Mark knew Dad from the old days. I said, Mark, I got to drag the old man, and he needs, we got to throw him a bone. So hell if he did it, man. I drug that old man around me for, how long, Mike? Probably a year, 2 years. He was at Comcast with us. Just one job after another. And they would joke, because he was older than me. And they would, we'd always joke, that was my apprentice. And we fight, it was an inseparable bond, man. Probably 2-3 years I got to work with him every day. And it was good times, man. We fought, they all said, and we're like, man, you guys fight like best friends. Yeah, he is my best friend, that's why. Him and Kris, man. Yeah, so we got Kris in the airlines finally. He was doing good. Flight instructor, youngest pilot. I told the story on the news, you guys caught that or not, but he's at the interview for Piedmont, and they're all looking at his hours, they're looking at each other. They said, there's got to be an issue here. There's got to be something wrong. And one friend of ours was on the board, and he said, well, my buddy Kurt, he's a good guy. They're playing. Yes, sir. Give it hell, brother. Good friend of ours. Good friend of ours. He actually built that plane piece by piece by himself from scratch. It's an old crop duster plane. Anyway. I don't even know where. Chris Noon. It's all good, man. We had a big family, man. Not only was he my son, he was all my good friends' sons. We'd have parties at the house. 10, 20 of us. And Kris and Alana were our little young bulls. It's a tragedy, guys. It's a tragedy. I'm not gonna hold you guys up here too much. Like I said, appreciate you guys coming out, spending the time. There's nothing that we can say or do to replace them. They were, if you had the luxury of being in their presence, you know where I'm coming from. They were one of a kind. They would pick up any room. Their smiles and their happiness were contagious. There was never a bad day. There was never a bad day. We'd always joke in the union. We'd have all these issues and this, that, and the third. This is going to shit, and this guy didn't show up, and we don't have no material or nothing. And then the old man would come strutting around the corner, pushing a cart with 2 thumbs up, rolling his hand, saying, "It's all right. It's going to be all right, guys. It's going to be all right. We'll figure it all out. We'll figure it all out." My dad loved his family, man. He loved his family. He made sacrifices like Nick said, and I'm just jumping around here. He was a big time guitar player. He had a Les Paul, a collectible Les Paul. He sold that for tuition. Coin collection, sold that to cover tuition and bills. I mean, this guy, he wouldn't sweat. When we're doing my house, we're fixing my house up, he gives my credit card. He said, hell, run it up. Run it up. I got in a bad accident a couple of years ago, and it was in the middle of rehabbing my house, and they came together and helped me out to the umpteenth degree. When I bought my farmhouse, they old Moosey's out there taking measurements and looking at the approaches, telling me how we're going to build a grass strip out back. I said, I don't know, Moose. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of work to make this happen. The house is falling down. I'm getting anxiety looking at the house. Fast forward 2 years later, every single solitary weekend, him and Kris would pick me up. We'd go to Elmer Diner, have breakfast, and go to the house and work every Saturday. I mean, shit you not. Every Saturday for 2 years straight, we gave that house hell. I'm going to miss him. I'm going to miss him. Yep, I'll be out here all day, man. Hell with that speech, man. Like I said, guys, appreciate everybody coming out here. Appreciate you taking the time to listen to me spiel up here. Moose and Kris would love they love the camaraderie. They love the company. They love the conversation. They were nothing but joy and happiness, man. And like I said on my post, I got knocked out of the playoffs early. My team was taken from me. We were the three. We were the trio. I will rebuild. Like I said, I'm not done flying. I flew last night. I'm going to keep on flying. Hopefully my kids take an interest to it. We could build something together. I'm still blessed to have a wonderful, healthy, happy family myself, my wife and my 3 kids, and the rest of my family and extended family around me. And I look forward to brighter and better days.
Here on earth, it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth, everything's different. There's an emptiness. I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the angels' choir, and I hope the angels know what they have. Bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. So tell me, what do you do up in heaven? Are your days filled with light and love? Is there music? Is there art? Is there invention? Are you happy? Are you all alive? 'Cause here on earth it feels like everything good is missing since you left. And here on earth everything's different. There's an emptiness. I hope you're dancing in the sky, and I hope you're singing in the air. angels cry, and I hope the angels know what they have. I bet it's so nice up in heaven since you arrived. Sing